something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, pages! Welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay. And you're our listener.
Hey there, listeners.
Hey there, listeners. Yes.
Guys, it is 11:18 on a Sunday night.
Sunday.
For 42 more minutes, yeah.
Bringing you some podcast content, because our producer Brian is traveling internationally, and we need to get this to him so we can edit it in time.
Can you believe it?
Well, I'm here, and I just want to say thank you. I know we're recording 2 in a row, but I really, really appreciate you for doing
great,
that.
Dude. We're glad to have you, man. And we have Brian in the studio, which is always a treat. Always a treat. For those of you who don't know us, maybe catching this show for the first time, I'm Jay. That's Adam.
Hello.
We are two of the hosts of the
two of the two hosts.
Two of two hosts of the of the evolutionary the full evolution of reaction content on the internet, the veritable Charizard of all reaction content.
The final form.
The final form. Some would say, what is the word I'm looking for? The evolutionarily inevitability.
Ooh.
There we go. Let me say that. I want to say that like totally.
Yeah.
It'll feel good. The evolutionarily.
You can do this.
I forgot the word again.
Inevitability?
The evolutionarily inevitability that is previewed on YouTube. You may know us from there, or you may know us from, those guys they sometimes eat sandwiches. All right, hey, this is our show, Fix It. It's not anything like the other ones. It's very different. This is the show where
It kind of is.
Adam and I, every week, we take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe didn't listen to the trees, and
But they were telling him, stop making this movie.
and we fix it. And today, Adam and I are going to be fixing 2008's The Happening.
One of the absolute worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
The M. Night Shyamalan-a-thon, The Happening.
Is this the worst? Producer Brian here. Is this the worst movie you've watched so far for this podcast? Objectively.
It's the second worst.
Oh, I would put it as first. You put the Dungeons and Dragons movie
Dungeons
first?
and Dragons was number one with the bullet.
Nope, Dungeons and Dragons had a plot. It had a plot that made sense moving forward. What they did with the plot was a little weird, but they was like, hey, we need this MacGuffin. Go get the MacGuffin. There's a bad guy trying to stop you. Oh, one guy dies, blah, blah, blah,
Whereas
blah.
this one is just...
It's just, we're in a field for the next 2 days, everybody. There's too many people here. Nope. No, and also, Dungeons and Dragons, close to 100 minutes. This movie, barely 80. So
this movie was basically half of an idea for a Twilight Zone episode that they turned into a major motion picture, or at least tried to. This movie, having watched this movie with my beautiful wife, and we'll do and I'm gonna have to watch it again for the Discord previewed watch along.
You are gonna have to watch it again.
I can't. Look, these watch alongs have been so fun and they've been so great, and I can't. And Kimberly, we got halfway through the movie, and she goes, "You're gonna have to watch this again, idiot." She's like, that's what you get for making for making podcast episodes early. And I went, shoot, Magoo. I gotta watch this thing again. Oh no.
At least it's only 80 minutes. If this movie was, if it was longer, But it was 80 minutes.
80 minutes. And I think there might be only 300 lines of dialogue. There's not a lot of talking in this movie. And then when they do talk, it's like, oh, we waited through all that silence for you to say that? That's not what we say. That's not how people
That's
talk.
not how humans
That's
do.
not how people talk. And Zoe Deschanel does all of her acting to every direction other than the camera. The happening, it's I guess we're right at plot drop. I guess we can.
We can't. Jay, I know this movie is enraging.
Sorry. This movie, it's like something in the air about this movie.
It's almost like there's something. It's almost like there's something in the air. But before we really do break this thing down, yes. We have to stick to the formula, Jay.
Adam, how you doing?
Jay, I'm doing great. I know, granted, we're recording this a week before actually this is coming out, so it's still going to be the same week we were talking about. But Jay, this week has been amazing.
Yeah, it's been great.
Vox Machina came out. We've only seen the first couple episodes. It was only because it's the first week, so we left on a giant cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But man, the past couple of days have been just the most fun.
Yeah.
Because I got dressed up as Percy in an amazing cosplay. It was a lot of fun. Here's the thing. I've never really had a really great costume before.
Yeah.
I bought a season 1 version of the Arrow costume.
Yeah, that's
back in the day.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I fit the jacket. It was like, this is nice. But Percy's a character that I really like. Arrow I enjoyed. It was a fun show for a while. But Percy's yeah, man, vengeance. Woo, woo, woo. And I was like, oh my god, I really look like this guy, and the coat fits so good, and I'm like, this is so awesome. And then we took pictures of it, and he put it on social media yesterday, and everyone else really enjoyed it. The whole system of we were having fun. Everyone watched us was having fun. Some people at Critical Role were having fun with it. This is. Yeah, this is so, dude. I've been on such a high the past couple of days, and the show is so much. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's been so good.
All for The Last of Us to come out tomorrow.
I know. And we've already been told. Someone's already watched. It's strap in, guys.
Hope you buy your tickets to the sad train. All aboard.
Choo-choo. Yeah, man, this next couple weeks are going to be really weird because it's 3 days of intense, fun Vox Machina action, even though, there's some sad stuff that might happen with the characters going through some stuff. But then, but at least awfully, it's always fun. And then, Mondays, it's okay, heavy show. Oh, but episode 3 is 90 minutes. Okay. Woo, okay.
Wait, the episode tomorrow is 90 minutes?
Episode 3.
Oh, okay.
Of
Hey,
Last
look,
of Us.
At least they're doing it right. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
We got a fun week coming up because we got Last of Us, and then we'll wrap up Wednesday.
Yep.
And then we've got
The Big Bitch.
we got Bad Batch, which is always a fun little a nice little sweet treat.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vox Machina, I love just I might be able to put out a schedule post.
Oh my god.
Here's when the episodes are. I love doing that.
I know you do.
But sometimes I try to do that, and it's well, we have one episode this week, and that's not enough for an announcement in any capacity, especially when Blind Wave is hey, here's 8 episodes for your butt. Get up in there. Yeah. And I'm we have 1 episode for your butt. I hope that's enough for your butt.
Yeah, if you look it up, if you look at Blind Wave's announcements, there is at the bottom of it, it's very small writing. It's for your butts.
Hold on to your butts.
But yeah, man, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
It's been a great week.
It's fun when the synergy all works together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It's fun when it's fun, and everyone's having fun right now. And we will be for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Because when Vox Machina ends, Mando starts.
And that's going to be...
And Invincible's in the near future. Granted, a teaser just dropped, so we're still a couple months away, but Invincible is on the horizon.
Oh, yeah.
So this... Here's a fun thing. I noticed today that I have a list of keywords to put in all of our videos and stuff like that I make beforehand.
Yeah.
And I just save them so I can just copy and paste it when I put the videos up. But I do it by show. So and my the Mac does files by years. So
Yeah.
like in 2021, like there was like I think like 15 or so like different shows that we did because it's like, oh yeah, wait a second, we did a whole bunch of shows in 21.
Yeah.
Last year we did maybe 8. Like
Oh,
it was
really?
half the amount of shows came out last year, even though like a lot of shows
Felt
came
really
out.
full though.
It did feel full, but like more shows came out in 21 than they did in 22,
All right.
which is like oh yep, that makes sense why so many more shows are coming out this year.
Yeah, man.
It's like
Oh yeah. Tape your butt shut. It's gonna be nuts. A lot of butt talk.
yeah
today.
for your oh Jay, it's this is late night previewed, baby. This is a late night fix it. Ooh,
Woo,
ooh.
woo, woo. Feeling yourself, feeling everybody. Let's just love each other. Woo! I'm gonna fix it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing great.
We're doing great. I'm having fun, man.
Back to the movie.
Back to the movie. Can I plot drop this one?
Sure. Okay, Jay. Plot drop the happening.
The Happening. Hey, Mark Wahlberg and Zoe Deschanel and John Leguizamo, they go on a wacky adventure. The trees start releasing a pheromone that makes people kill themselves, and then it stops. That's it.
Yep.
And then it stops doing that. Some people die. John Leguizamo doesn't make it, but Zoe and Mark Wahlberg
Yep.
are fine.
Mm-hmm. And the little kid is fine.
And Spencer Breslin takes 2 rounds of buckshot right to the solar plexus.
Oh, that was the name. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
I had totally forgotten that those 2 teenagers
Yeah.
ate it like
Get
that.
wasted.
Yeah.
That kid gets blasted in the head in a way that I was like, this is so. Yeah, that's basically it. That's like the whole movie. It's the trees.
It's
Yeah.
trees. Oh, there's too many people. Maybe the trees are talking to the grass, and there's a blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, okay, then start burning everything with fire.
Yeah.
Then start a goddamn forest fire and walk in
Yes.
its wake.
Yes.
Like, oh, I mean, is that the scenario we're going with? Great, burn it all to the ground.
I mean, is that your fix? That's great.
Yeah, Coruscant. Everything's concrete.
I mean, before we get into the details of the movie, if just the premise, if that was something that actually happened, and I was like, oh, hey, the trees are trying to kill us, what would the real reaction be to that?
Nuke 'em.
We would burn all the forests to the ground and figure out a way to do it without
And it's
nature.
okay, but
That's what we would do. We would Coruscant the planet.
it actually goes. It goes into my fix in that I think. Well, first and foremost, after watching this movie, I actually don't fundamentally know, and I know Brian's got this in his bean footage later, but I fundamentally don't understand how M. Night Shyamalan was allowed to make movies after this movie.
Seriously.
Because here's the thing. Everything he made up to this point, I understood what he was going for. Some of it didn't hit the mark. This movie in general, just like is just bad. Like it's the shots are bad. Like I will say, some of like the people killing themselves are shot in a very scary way. Like it's the far away kind of like seeing something happen from a far away kind
Sure.
of thing. And the sequences of like the construction workers like jumping off.
Yeah.
But that was but you could just feel them being like, this in the trailer is going to absolutely dominate. This is going to be good. This is going to sell tickets, baby. But then they didn't have anything to back it up. But like the dialogue, there wasn't a lot of it. And when people did talk, they didn't talk like how people talk. Zoe Deschanel, is written like a cartoon character in this movie, and I felt bad for her. But also her line deliveries were just. It's just bad. She doesn't even sound like herself. It's this movie.
It's terrible, Jay. It's terrible.
And then here's the thing. The concept of them getting to the end and it just being over and
Yep.
it just being like a red tide thing.
Yep.
If they had structured that properly and made that as like kind of part of the scary part of it, it's just like it just ends as quickly as it starts. Like we don't know when it's going to come or go. That's really scary. And that can be really effective. But the way that this movie landed that plane, it just felt like, oh, so I'm an idiot for for being afraid of this?
Yep.
Okay, so this was just a bunch. This was just kind of. So the guy who locked himself in his house and shot those kids was right. Oh, so he made it out just fine, hunky dory, no problem. Okay, cool movie, great. What? Like, I've never felt so stupid for being for trying to get into a movie with that ending.
Well, here's the thing: the first scene of the first real scene of the movie is at the school where Mark Wahlberg is a teacher, and basically that's the whole movie. They're summing up the whole movie in that first scene.
That's the truth.
And it's like, oh, so this movie's not going to make any sense.
Well, but here's the thesis statement of its nature, and maybe we will never fully understand it. That conceptually and as a theme can be very scary.
Sure. It
That
could be.
if you expanded upon that theme and just rode that train out, that could be totally horrifying. But if I'm being honest, I think what this movie goes from being kind of spooky to being ridiculous, like almost immediately.
Oh, immediately.
In that, like, and it's, as an audience member, I got turned off because the concept of the trees making people kill themselves.
Yes.
It's actually, like, as an audience member, at a certain point, I was so off-putting that it wasn't scary anymore.
No, it wasn't
I was
at all.
like, I was just mad at the movie for continuing to make me watch it happen.
Sure.
I was like, hey, this sucks. I'm not scared. I just really don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is giving me the ick.
Well, also it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Some type of toxin, like the thing was a lot of information was dropped in this movie via TV news segments of just, wow, they're figuring this out real fast. But what they were telling people is like, okay, so somehow this toxin or whatever drops the barrier in our brain of like that, like, oh, we think like that Bill Burr segment or that joke, like, sometimes you ever eat like a Thanksgiving dinner and you're like, you gotta make that pie. He's like, you know what? I can just put my head through this glass window right now and end it all. I can bleed out right here. And you know what? I wouldn't have to make that pie. And you know what? It's close to being worth it. Like that type of like, they just gets rid of that barrier in your brain of like between thought and action. It's like, okay, that's one thing, but then maybe a lot of people aren't thinking about self-harm. Yeah. Like it just the mechanism of why people were doing things like didn't make any conceptual sense. Like if it said like it makes some people hallucinate in order to kill them, but like it wasn't. It was like, okay, I got the wind got me. What's the closest thing I could do to kill myself? Like they're actively making a choice. How do I kill myself right now? Yeah. I was like, that's too far a leap in logic of what trees can do. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I sniffed a rose and now all of a sudden...
These trees got too many powers.
Trees are mummies. Basically,
honestly,
liches.
I would have rather watched a Trees Are Mummies movie.
You know what? Brian, call Mr. Shyamalan right now. We got an idea. Happened too.
When I go back to Pennsylvania, I'll find him.
Yeah, he's in Philly somewhere. If you go into Philly and make a spooky wish, M. Night Shyamalan will appear.
When they film the next season of Servant at Rittenhouse, I'll knock on the door.
It's the trees, and they're mummies. Let me think, goddammit.
I got to apply the scientific method. Wait, there's too many people. How many? I'm just.
What about mummies?
Did anyone consider the mummies?
Anybody considered that maybe the trees are mummies and will never quite totally understand mummies? This man, but all
right.
Yeah, it's like the more like I keep thinking of a point to talk about, but then like another one like presents itself.
Yes.
And it's like, no, even more this. And I'm like, no, but then what about that one? But also like this movie sets in motion like little pieces of things that don't matter. In that like when they approach the house and those two kids get wasted, that's completely messed up.
Yep.
Like that could be the whole third act could be this like, okay, this is. I think there's a lot more interesting things about like, well, they all just assumed it was terrorism, and like the scene in the field where she was like, "You're just gonna let these people kill themselves? Like, I'm not gonna stand by and let this happen. Like, this is how the terrorists win." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, this is an interesting mindset. This maybe like is kind of like an exploration in like the post 9/11 mind.
Absolutely.
And that's interesting because that's kind of where we're at mindset wise, but also like you haven't done really anything to earn this in any way.
Nope.
But then we get to the house and it's like, okay, well that could be the third act. Is that the third act? Nope, we're just gonna bail because they shot those two kids get killed because they were told to get away, and Mark Wahlberg should have been, hey guys, let's go. These guys really don't want us. Let's go. And then they get to a house where there's Betty Buckley there, and she's crazy. She's got mannequins in beds for reasons.
She's not
insane.
There's no explanation for
No explanation.
anything that happens at the end.
No. The Happening.
It happened.
Good night. Oh, we're so done.
The trees are mummies.
Makes more sense than what happened.
The Happening, the musical. It would have made more sense. Kimberly and I had a really serious conversation after watching this movie. I was like, hey, if there's like a really serious situation and you're on the train to in Princeton town, however they say it, like they're on the town to the Princeton or so, like the Princeton Township, and I was like, they just would say Princeton, but whatever. That's not how people talk. I was like, hey, how about you don't abandon our kid with Mark Wahlberg and come find me? How about you just stay with our kid and I'm either dead or not? Like, can we not do that? There's The Happening. We need to fix this thing.
Before we do that, I mean, I could easily go on with other things, but Brian, how in God's name was this movie made? Because, like, seriously, this wasn't even a full idea. The script wasn't even done.
Here, Brian, you take my seat this time because Adam can stay in.
Sure.
We'll mix it up. We'll keep it fresh and froggy.
So fresh and so clean.
Yeah.
Just say, make sure you don't get too close to each other. We don't want the trees getting angry.
Because they're mummies.
Because they're mummies.
Because they're mummies.
So actually, hey everybody, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk through our fix today for 2008's The Happening. Yeah, this happened. Okay.
So that happened, eh?
So it was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It stars Mark Wahlberg, Zooey Deschanel, John Leguizamo, and Betty Buckley. It made $163 million.
What?
Yes, on a budget of anywhere between $48 and $60 million.
No
It cost
way.
$60 million?
Yes.
They were in fields most of the time.
Yeah. Fields are expensive to book. I don't
Get
know.
outta
The
here.
trees, their minimum is huge.
Their agents.
Yeah,
Yes.
their agents were wild.
Man, I gotta give you a tree agent.
Yeah. Okay, so just so you know, this movie lost the Razzie for Worst Picture.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, beat it.
The Love Guru.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
At least it was nominated.
It was nominated for everything that year, but
good.
Mike Myers swept the Razzies that year. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Wow.
But okay, so this movie has a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's high.
This is not his lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes movie. He's got 2 underneath this one. Can you guess what those 2 movies are?
Oh, jeez. Avatar?
Avatar is one of them.
Yeah, it's gotta be Avatar. And then
Avatar is his lowest rated with a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa!
Then there's one that has a 12%, and then it's 17% with The Happening.
I wanna say, is it Mr. Glass?
No, it's not Glass. It's not that one.
Which one?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It is After Earth.
Oh yeah.
Wait, he directed After Earth?
Yes. Did you also know that M. Night Shyamalan did a rewrite of She's All That, and he helped write the screenplay for the Stuart Little live-action movie?
I had no idea.
Huh.
He directed.
Welcome to beautiful film fun fact. I don't even know what this segment's called.
He did After Earth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so if we're talking M. Night Shyamalan career, you asked how did this man make another movie after this?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let's talk through his career for just a moment, starting with Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Which is a top 10 favorite movie of mine, and it is a perfect film. I rewatched it the other day because on the podcast Talking Horror, we are covering M. Night Shyamalan. Well, because we're doing this episode because Knock at the Cabin is coming out, his new movie. So we wanted to take the Happening, which has been highly requested by the Peaches, and fix it. So, The Sixth Sense has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Unbreakable has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right.
Signs has a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fair.
Then you have The Village, which drastically goes down to 43%.
Yeah.
Then you have Lady in the Water, that goes down to 25%.
I never saw that one.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Oh, I never see that one either. It seems interesting.
It's unique. It's more interesting in the trajectory of his career in the movies than it is as a movie itself.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, that's another one he's in.
He's in all of them. He has his Hitchcock cameos in every single
He's in The
movie.
Sixth Sense too?
Yes, he plays the doctor who accuses Toni Collette's character of potentially abusing her son when it's actually the ghosts who are abusing him.
Oh, okay.
Then you have The Happening. Then you have The Last Airbender. Then
That
After
was the
Earth.
next one?
Yes.
Wait, when was The Last Airbender made?
2010 it came out.
That was 12 years ago? Wow, I would not have thought that.
We're old, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Screw you, time. Stop moving.
Trees aren't the only ones that are turning into mummies.
Then you have After Earth in 2013. Then you have The Visit, Split, Glass, and Old. But you ask, how could he have kept making movies? Because guess what? These movies were critically panned, but they made a lot of money. So The Village on $60 million made $257 million.
Sure.
Lady in the Water only made an extra $3 million. So that was a flop technically.
Yep.
70 million
Technically.
versus 73
Yeah.
million. The Happening on 48 to 60 million, as I previously mentioned, made $163 million.
That's all because of the trailer.
That's the trailer, and I think at that point in time, Mark Wahlberg was like very popular.
I think he's still
Yeah.
I think he's still decently popular.
Yeah. Then you have Airbender, which cost $150 million, made $319 million. Then you
Should have made way more.
yes,
Should've
the
made
reviews kept it from making
way
that
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Then you had After Earth, which cost $130 million and made $251 million.
Wow, it made that much.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you get into like, we'll get into this section in a second. But what I want to bring up is the fact that all of the movies that I previously mentioned were distributed by different companies. So Buena Vista Pictures did Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, in The Village. Warner Brothers did Lady in the Water. The Happening was 20th Century Fox at the time. Last Airbender was Paramount. And then After Earth was Sony. Okay, so you had different...
Oh, so he's just changed the production houses.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Buena Vista exists or was bought or whatever it is. But like to me, that's fascinating that he had to find different distributors, even though he still found the producers to make the movie, the production companies. But after all of those, it just like totally failed. Like nobody wanted to take the chance. I think he had a lot of goodwill because of Sixth Sense, Unbreakable,
Sure,
Signs.
yeah.
Like all of those did very well, and like Sixth Sense, like is maybe one of the greatest directorial debuts
Ever.
like ever.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Right.
But I also will show up. I will show up to see what he's up to.
That's the thing.
Really?
Kinda, yeah.
Even now?
He's a director who I will be button seat for any movie he puts out because I don't know what I'm gonna get. Am I getting a Sixth Sense or am I getting a Happening? There's something kind of exciting about that in some ways.
I kind of agree.
Wow.
But there's
okay.
also the nostalgia. Like Sixth Sense holds such a umbrella over me, like such a weight over me that like I want to see what this guy comes up with next.
I also think Signs is an incredible film.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the plot twist is kind of stupid in that these aliens are allergic to most of our planet, but
Yeah, like
still.
like read the Zagat guide before. But like, yeah, and And so I find that all fascinating. But what I want to bring up next is the fact that after all of that, and like After Earth, and like just those wretched reviews, he raised $5 million on his own and put it against his house to make his next movie because nobody wanted to fund his movie. So he self-funded The Visit. Then he sold it to he pitched it to a ton of studios. Nobody wanted it. Universal picked it up. And using the Blumhouse infrastructure.
Okay.
The Visit on $5 million made $98 million.
Yeah.
Then Split, which cost $9 million,
Split cost only 9?
made $279 million.
Split was really good. Too.
Well, yes. Visit was all that. You know what? Visit was a decent twist. It wasn't.
Sure.
It wasn't like, oh, that's what's going on. Okay, I can see that. And Split was a very good movie, and that was also helped by, I'm sorry, what was the main actor?
Mr. Tumnus.
James McAvoy. Yeah, he super crushed it.
Yeah.
The only problem was, the reason why the girl didn't get hurt in the end of the movie was that was not great.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Totally. And
but
that's
what-
also not how, like, split personality works. But then you have Glass on $20 million, made $247 million.
Was that like only in the first weekend before everyone was like,
Yeah, oh no. And then you have Old, which on $18 million made $90 million. So, he's making money and he has Servant that got really good reviews on Apple Plus. But I mean, his budget for all of his movies is $703 million. They have made $3.1 billion overall. So his movies make money, but he has got that huge chunk right in the middle that's just like, this person probably should have never worked again.
Yeah, but he had to put his house on the line.
yeah.
Like,
Okay, so the respect there. I mean, because that's the thing. The lower budget horror films, if it's got that really good hook, that interesting, clever thing that's actually going on, if you can do it on the cheap, man, you can make bank.
Yeah, we talked about it during the Avatar episode in terms of what's the most profitable movie of all time. And most of the stuff on that list is in the horror genre.
Yeah.
Because you have let's take a chance on this $2 million, $3 million movie, and then all of a sudden Paranormal Activity makes millions and millions of dollars on a $100,000 budget,
I
which
think
is
that
insane.
franchise as a whole, I think, is already made close to $1 billion.
I mean, the franchise, yeah, and it's pretty good. Most of them are pretty good.
Oh.
But what I want to present to you two is my couple of line fix for The Happening.
Oh, okay. Sure, go for it.
However, so just to present the rules.
Oh, yes, there are rules for for everyone's fixes.
For everyone's fixes is that you have to keep the twist. That's it.
Yeah, it's got to be
You
the
have
it's got to be the
keep-
trees.
It's just the mummy trees.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping mine a little bit tighter because I cannot change everything. I need to be able to tweak to make it incrementally better as opposed to just change everything. So here's my proposition. The movie opens with a prologue with the government doing something. Okay?
Makes more sense.
Okay.
Already makes more sense.
But the whole movie is leading you in the direction that it's terrorists and the government. Everyone believes that's what it is, and they're running around trying to save themselves in that. Throughout the whole movie, you cut all of the over-the-top, phoned-it-in dialogue, meaning the twist of the movie, not the dumb premise, but the twist is that it's Earth trying to get back at us. That's the twist, because if you have it as the twist, then all of a sudden you get you remember the movie as that movie had the nuttiest twist. Oh my God, you have to see this. The ending, the last 10 minutes is literally nuts. That's your marketing.
Because they're telling you the
The
whole time.
The premise of the whole movie is we got to get away from these trees. But if that's
Further into nature, everyone.
yeah. But if that's the twist, so you obviously have to recast it because you need two people with chemistry.
Oh, that's a good
You
point.
have
Yeah,
to.
they didn't.
Because what you need to do is you need to prioritize the relationship, and you need to focus the relationship on the fact that she doesn't want to have a baby with him because she's afraid of bringing a new life into a terrible world. Because throughout the whole thing, you still see the visual effects of the newspaper, because you see that newspaper in this one that says like crime is up in Philadelphia, and like the environment is blah blah blah, all that stuff. These are all visual hints. There are trees in every shot. You still have the wind underneath everything, but those are just like hints for the end when you like flash back to like all this stuff that's happening. So you prioritize the fact that she doesn't want to have a baby and he wants to have a baby. He's still a teacher and he still like sees science as like, no, like everything's gonna be okay, and she doesn't, and that's their like push and pull,
Right?
Because then you don't have to change any conversation in this movie because it ends with the pregnancy test.
Yeah.
And like the symbolically, them being able to get through this showed them that they can get through anything, and like they get closer together.
Sure.
Like that's what you base the thematics of this movie in. And so the movie becomes about the twist. The whole time you think it's terrorist because, like Jay said, you're playing on the fact that like that this is a post 9/11 world. We're all afraid of this war and all of that stuff. So you're playing on it. Everyone thinks they're running from terrorists, but really they've done this to themselves. And so like that's my fix by tweaking like one or two things in this, and you keep it as the twist, not the dumb premise.
Yeah, that's a really smart idea. Good job, dude.
It happened. And I changed the title to
It happened.
The Trees Are Mummies.
Oh, the trees are mummies, yes.
Them trees be mummies.
Them trees be mummies.
TP'd all these trees.
Yeah. Then there's an after credit scene where it's the soil.
Man, I'm just saying they really could have done a dark universe based off starting in the happening. It could have been great.
I know that was a longer fun fact footage.
But this one needed it.
Yeah.
Because it's just so bad.
Yeah. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen. Whoosh. Whoosh. Oh, yeah. Like, the fact that he's like, no, I gotta think. But he's like, the sound effects of him breathing really loudly. It's like, why are you breathing so loud when you know what the problem is?
Gotta think, goddammit.
Wait, if we just all social distance from each other, then we'll be fine. Social distancing was the answer in the end here.
That's funny. Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
We just need to social distance.
Yeah. Oh, and like at the end of my fix, like they go to the woman's house, and the woman.
You see Jay trying to do a
Trees
bit
are
here?
mummies.
See, he's doing the thing. He's going to walk backwards in a second. See, there you go. Go stand in the corner, Jay.
Honestly, I thought he was reading the whiteboard. I thought he was like, "What's the next segment?"
I'm doing a bit.
I collected immediately. This guy thinks he's so clever.
I was like, "Is he gonna fart?"
Okay, I did I Nope, it's you and your best friend can either finish the episode. I'm done.
Yeah, I know enough about Adam to know that if I farted on him, it would drastically change our relationship. And that's why he'll always be the second best.
Because Brian allows me to fart on him. You heard it here first, everybody. This movie's really bad and it made me angry. I'm really glad I watched it at 1.5 speed. Not quite as fast as 2, but...
No, yeah. I think to really appreciate how bad this movie is, you have to watch it just right at the regular... Just take it right to the domski.
It is a fast...
You need to experience how M. Night Shyamalan directed all of the trees blowing in the wind with one hand in a way that just really... It was like, the tree, the wind. And I'm like, can we please... move this along? And he's like, if I move along, you realize there's not much more left. I'm running out of runway. Spooky trees.
Honestly, it would have been better if there was something underneath being like, spooky.
Or like the trees like whispered or something. Yeah, it would be way scarier. All right, we got to fix this thing.
Yes, we do.
Who's going first?
Mine is pretty nuts.
Okay,
what's
I'll
yours?
Go first.
Okay,
I'll go first.
all right.
Okay. All right.
Remember, the rules are, guys. It's the same. It's the trees.
It's the trees.
It is the trees.
It's the trees.
So
yeah, I don't think you got. It's got to be the trees.
it has to be. I'm just letting everybody know.
I'm gonna write a mummy movie without mummies. Come on now.
I don't know, Jay. You may fill it with a bunch of liches.
Lich, please.
Producer Brian here. If you're not getting any of these references, check out our Mummy episode.
Okay, so the happening, a mummy uprising begins. It opens very similar. It opens in Central Park, and it's everyone like in action and stuff, but instead of like everyone like stopping and like killing themselves, everyone kind of like slows down and stops, and we still get that like everyone being still in Central Park, because that stuff was evocative. I will give him that.
Sure.
A lot of that stuff was very evocative. It worked. It played great in the trailer. It sold a lot of tickets that opening weekend. But basically what happens is that like everyone kind of like slows down and I am straight up lifting this from the Firefly movie. People start like laying down or like falling asleep wherever they're sitting.
Oh, you're
like,
going Ravagers?
Everyone kind of starts slowing down, but then you see from the stillness that like everyone kind of like falling over and like kind of like passing out. You see like
Raiders.
2 or 3 people kind of just start going completely feral.
Sure.
Whereas like, and so you have like you basically they're almost rabid.
Yes.
Like they turn into like rabies zombies kind of thing. Like they're not like
The Rage Zombies from 28 Days Later.
They're not necessarily searching out people, but like it's the kind of thing where they're just kind of like stumbling around, and it's just kind of like very clear,
They're
like
the hyper-violent.
foaming
Yeah,
at the
they're-
mouth, and they've gone completely feral, and it's like, oh, okay, great, and then like you see this happening in other parts of the city, like you see like people like laying down, buses, like you can expand all the terror from this.
Yeah.
Like buses crashing into buildings
Yep.
because people are falling asleep at the wheel, like planes falling out of the sky. Like I don't know, I think that was a little bit more of a stretch on their part, but
The people of the planes would be perfectly fine until they
yeah,
landed.
until they landed. Yeah, so maybe not that, but you could expand that to the horror from that perspective, not like construction workers jumping off of buildings, although that's pretty scary. So we cut to we're still keeping why can't I think of his name right now?
Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg. We're keeping Mark Wahlberg, and he is a teacher. He's a science teacher. He is actually he is taking his students on a field trip to the botanical gardens.
Okay.
And what we learned from them going to the botanical gardens is that, yes, Mark Wahlberg is a teacher, but we find out when he's talking to the front desk lady, like checking in his students for the field trip, that he's also a veteran. And he was like talking to the guy behind the counter. He's like, oh, like, where'd you serve? Like, oh, great. Like, well, we find out he's in communications. He was in the communications division. It's like, oh yeah, like, basically like, an engineer corps. He's like, yeah, like, you know, but I've always like really loved science. So, you know, once I got back and discharged, I, you know, thought I'd start teaching. Find out that, like, you know, we find out that the tour guide, the reason that they're at the botanical gardens is that the guy, the leader of the botanical gardens, their like tour guide person, is the father of one of his students.
Oh, okay.
Played by John Leguizamo.
Cool.
Because we're gonna keep him around.
Yeah.
I like John Leguizamo. It's great.
Everyone likes him.
And he's giving them a tour about all the stuff, and we're finding out about like it's just like a normal like, but we're getting, you know, things on the TVs of like things like falling apart, and John Leguizamo gives like this whole thing about you know, these are certain plants that we've only discovered, that have only like returned back to the ecosystem in the past like 500 years, like because like, you know, like there's certain aspects of the world that are changing, and so certain plants are coming back. Like plants are like evolving in different ways that we don't even know. It's like you know, broccoli is technically mustard seed. Like the plants are pretty much capable of anything, and you know, we need to be able to take care of our planet, and goes through all the reasons that we're not, how we're not, and things like that. And then we find out that there's been a terrorist attack in New York, and so they have to cancel the field trip. Everyone gets on the bus. John Leguizamo's like, hey, like, I got to pick up my kid anyways. Do you mind if I just hop a ride the bus back?
Yeah.
They're talking about everything, and they're like listening to the radio on the bus, and the bus drivers, you know, got the radio on for him. He's like, I don't, like, just keep it low. I don't want to like spook the kids or anything. And we find them, and they're like talking about like, basically their meeting of the minds about like, well, you know, this could very well be nerve gas. Like I was over there, like we were fighting terrorists. Like this is something that if they had the capability of doing, like, they probably would do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's and John Leguizamo's like, yes, but there's certain things that don't necessarily match up
Things are
with like a neurotoxin, like a traditional like lab made neurotoxin.
Right.
He was like, there's certain like the variables here, and Mark Wahlberg's like, yeah, like I don't. He was like, apparently there are people that are like not responding, but they're like freaking out because of it. Like, and he's like, that doesn't normally happen, like with a lab, like a lab based thing. They're figuring it out. They get back to school, and they have to basically like get the kids like sent home, and there's like an emergency warning that's like, hey, like this might hit Philadelphia, like we probably need to like get going. And they're like, hey, like I know like you're my kid's favorite student, like would you mind, like I don't know where you're going. And they're like, oh, like we have this country house like out, like kind of out in the boonies, like we might just head there. Zoe Deschanel comes home, and I'm fine with Zoe Deschanel just being really like not necessarily cheating on him or having anything to do with that.
Right.
Zoe Deschanel is going to play the part of the person who had a husband go overseas to fight this.
Yes.
And is completely shell-shocked after the 10 years post 9/11. Like she's the one that's just like, it's happening all over again. Like we need to go. Like she's not okay.
Yes. Yep.
Like she is unraveling. And he's
I
like
that a lot.
yeah.
And
like,
rightfully so, because
I think the terror of this is like we have to lean into that, and so that's why I really wanted to make him a vet, because like she's not only had to deal with 9/11 but with like him going overseas, and he was like, I was trying to build something, like we were trying to like fix stuff, like I'm an engineer first,
right,
and a scientist second, like. She's like, I don't think you understand. Like, there's a reason. Like, we bought that house outside of the city. Like, we're going right now. And John Leguizamo's like, hey, do you mind if we just come? Like, we don't have anywhere to go. Do you mind if we come? They're like, yeah, sure. And so his daughter and him go along. They get in their Jeep on the way out. But as they are leaving the city, I think we see it hit Philadelphia.
Okay.
Like, I like the idea of them riding the park around Art Hill.
Okay.
Like the art museum,
right,
and taking that turn right there. Because I think, like, Brian, like, you live in Philly, you get it. Like, it's in my Shyamalan. It's got to be Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But, like, that area, like, if you just kind of saw, like, everyone around that area just kind of start to lay down, except for the other people that just sort of pop back up and start chasing after the Jeep, like, down those steps, that could be amazing. That could be really cool. So they're straight up freaking out, but they do inevitably get out of the city. But I think all the while, John Leguizamo's character like kind of passes out in the back, and they don't know. But as he's passing out, like he's like looking at Mark Wahlberg, and he's like, I don't know what's happening to me right now, but like keep me safe, but like figure out what you need to figure out.
Experiment on me.
Yeah, pretty much. They get out to their country home, and it's John Leguizamo's kid, Mark Wahlberg, who are like trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
All the while, Zoe Deschanel is freaking out. She was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's infected. Like, he can't be in this house. And they're trying to convince her the whole time. Like, it's almost, I'm keeping, like, I'm keeping it really small.
Yeah.
And contained. Yeah. And she's freaking out. But all the while, they're trying to figure out what's going on with her. And eventually, they, like, calm her down when he's, like, running, like, he does a little bit of blood work. And because he's got all of his like science stuff there.
Sure, yeah, he works at the military because you've set everything up.
Or however he could tell certain things, and he was like, it's there's like pollen all over him. He's like, this isn't, and I think he like slowly like figures out a hypothesis and like remembers like the day that he's had, and he's just like, I don't think this has anything to do. This might not be man-made in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't man-made. And Zoe Deschanel is, like, not having
No,
it.
she doesn't believe it all. Yeah.
Like, it's gotten to a point where, so Mark Wahlberg has a ham radio, like a big ham radio setup that, like, he goes out and, like, puts out the big antenna, and he starts trying to like reach out to local governments, like law enforcement, anyone that will listen,
Right.
try to communicate what's going on. But as he starts doing that, Zoe Deschanel, like, completely freaks out. She was like, "You are spreading misinformation. Like, the real enemy are other people that are trying to hurt us, and you are just going to get a lot of other people killed. And, like, I don't think I can let you do that." And so I think, like, she takes, like, the shotgun off the wall, and she's the one, his wife, who, like, and he's like, "Honey, like, why? Like, I think I figured this out. Like, I think we can help people. Like, I don't know why you don't see this." And she just, like, completely has, like, a complete psychotic break about it.
Yeah.
All the while, I think, we're seeing like they've got the news on, and they're seeing it happen, like, other places, and it comes to a point where, like, he basically has to like disarm Zoe Deschanel and, like, lock her in a room, and she's, like, completely freaking out about it. And then all the while, I think you're seeing a bunch of, like, the people who are kind of, like, freaking out, like, show up on, like, in the vicinity of their cabin.
Yeah.
And it turns into and then Mark Wahlberg is there with the shotgun, and he's just like, "I don't think, like, these people haven't done anything wrong. Like, I don't know." And Zoe's screaming from the other room, like, "Kill him!" And like, John Leguizamo's, like, daughter is, like, passed out. And then,
Like, asleep. She's asleep.
or no, she's like freaking out, but
Yeah.
she's, like, not sure, like, what to do. And then it's gotten to a point where they're, like, banging down the door. Like, the daughter's freaking out, and it's gotten to a point where, like, did you ever see The Mist?
Yeah. No, I didn't, but I know. Yes, but I know.
Where
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg is, like, he's not sure. He doesn't want to kill the people out there. But there's a moment where he's looking at her, and he's looking, like, at himself in the mirror, and he's holding the shotgun. He's like, "I can't kill those people out there. I can't. I'm not sure." And he starts to, like, freak out, and then starts to, like, pull the shotgun towards himself in a way that. But then as he's having that thought, John Leguizamo just, like, pops up from the stretcher he's on.
Slumber.
His slumber. He's like, it's plants. The pollen. I knew it as soon as I passed out. I figured it out. And then, like, you see the people, like, all the people who are, like, raging out, just basically, like, start bleeding from the nose and just, like, fall. And it's just, and much like the first happening, it's over as soon as it starts. But, like, and it's gotten to, like, I just want to build, like, the small tense moments.
Oh, sure.
Of, like, what this is.
Because that's way better of people interacting and freaking out about the situation itself, causing the tension of not knowing what's going on and trying to figure out what's best to do instead of running away from the wind.
Yeah. And so it's like, we get, like, the mummy wind.
You see his big with his mouth coming at you.
And so
his big mouth.
Yeah, we see, like, everyone kind of, like, have to go back to real life and being like, oh, like, maybe that we don't necessarily, like, maybe it's not humans aren't trying to hurt other humans, but, like, we need to, in order to take care of each other, we need to take care of our planet. But what does that even mean? And then, like, you can tell that, like, Zoe and Mark Wahlberg's character, like, they don't work out.
No, they do not.
Like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, hey, like, I know it was hard when I went away, but, like, this isn't, like, it, and humanity is, like, not necessarily okay after this, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, how do we, I think that's the ennui at the end of the movie. It's like, I guess we're okay, but this could happen again at any time. But, and what does that even, if we're going to tear ourselves apart without this doing, like, I think there's, I want to end this movie with a big sense of ennui.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's my happening.
That makes sense. What does it flash over to France? So it ends with ennui in France.
Well, no, I actually that's one thing I did like about the movie.
Ennui is a French term, right?
Was like we can't tell that this wasn't.
I'm smart. I did it. Thanks, Brian.
They don't necessarily know what it was.
Oh,
and they were like, and if anything, they were like, well, people were trying to tell us that it's like plants and like, but like there's not enough data. Like if it doesn't happen a second time, and then yeah, it happens in France. I think that's great. Like, sure, but I want it to be. But I also want it to be a commentary on like. Because I think that's a part of what I missed in this movie was that, like, the scene when Zoe's like, we can't let the terrorists win. Like, this is how this happens. Like, if we don't go help these people, and it's like, oh yeah, this was only like 7 years away from that. Like, I would imagine that would be a mindset. Let's explore that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So that's my happening.
Way better.
Yeah. Never has running away from nature been as unbelievable in this since the day after tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, outrunning the freezing.
Ice.
Yeah, the
Yo,
ice,
man.
Yeah.
Yo, or when what's his name? When Frodo gets on that dirt bike and has to run away from the flood.
Oh,
that
Deep
wasn't.
Impact.
Oh, that was Deep Impact.
Deep Impact.
Yeah, that one. That's pretty
Still,
rad too.
Man.
Yeah.
I love producer Brian here. I love a good disaster movie.
Oh yeah, man.
2012 A+ film.
A plus.
Oh man, I grew up
San
on
Andreas, come on
that.
now.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, man. The good.
I am just Team Civilization. I don't know. You know what? I love society. I know there's a lot of things wrong, and I know a lot of people have ideas to make it right. I feel like we got to give ourselves a chance, guys, and make it to the future together. Because, like, I know if there's a disaster, the world ends. I'm effed in the A. So I'm Team Civilization.
Because all we are saying is give me a chance.
Let's keep it together for my sake. I need everyone to work together.
I can't stay inside if there's no more inside.
I don't want to go outside, Jay.
Society facilitates inside.
Please and thank you. Please. Okay.
I just imagine Adam like whispering to the earth like Han Solo, just like, hear me, baby, hold together.
Stick with me, baby. We can do this. Okay. Here's my fix for the happening. So we opened in New York City. It's 2023. We're gonna make it. We're making it modern. I'm updating it. It's modern now. It's right now. It's 2023. Open in New York City, and we kind of zoom around the city a little bit, and we open up on a Wheeler construction site, and they are a green construction company. Just kind of building some new, because the city is always building new things. We're watching a new green building be built here in the city, and we find our foreman James, the owner of the company. He's interacting with some employees, kind of going about normal daily business. We see a little bit of his routine, and then all of a sudden, we see somebody fall off the top of the construction site, much like the normal movie.
Yeah.
Because that shot was very good.
It's evocative.
Yeah, that little 90 seconds was like, whoa. So we're going to reconstruct that. One guy falls, then a couple more people fall.
Yeah.
And then James is looking around like, what's going on? And then a couple people start like throwing themselves into the machinery.
Yeah.
That is like, like the mixer and stuff like that. Like, what's going on? So James is freaking out. He picks up his cell phone. He calls his wife, Lynn. Flash over to Lynn, who is now a little bit outside the city to the north, and she's at a wind farm. And she's like, okay, just construct. She's like, she's overseeing the construction. I was like, because offshore wind farms are popping up over here on the East Coast. And so she's like, oh, this is amazing. Like the power output will really help, to facilitate New York City's energy needs and some of the places north. And her phone rings. She picks it up and here's just James like screaming at her, like, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you safe? Are you safe? She's like, everything is fine here. The wind farms, blah, 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 it's working out. And then all of a sudden she sees some of the people that she's working with, like, just start walking into the water.
Oh.
And not coming back up. And she's looking around, like, some people are just like saying crazy things. And she's like, what is going on? Cut back to James. James is he's like, just stay safe. I'm going to come and get you.
Yeah.
I got to figure a way out of the city. Everything's crazy here. Like, it's as kind of stuff you were saying. Like, people are crashing their cars. We
Yeah.
have people who are unaffected begging their loved ones who are affected to like stop what they're doing.
Yeah, I guess it would be more if it only affected certain people.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot more evocative. If you had like other people around being like, "Why are you doing this? Oh my god, no, no, no!" Like that's more interesting to me than just everyone just being like,
Yeah. If it's affecting everybody, yeah. You got some people have to not be affected by
yeah,
it.
like some people just aren't allergic to peanut butter, and some people are.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's great.
So James is working his way through the city, and he's like, Lynn, I'm going to get to you. Stay safe. I'm going to try to find a way out. So, I mean, we're watching people die all over the place, all over the city. And James is like trying to run through. He gets in his car. He's trying to drive himself up, and he calls his friend, the professor. And we cut over to the UN, and we see this very handsome black man with a smooth African accent answer the phone. And he's like, "Oh, James, what is going on out there?" And James is like, "Everything's in crazy. What's going on there? Do you have any idea?" And he's like, "Well, the UN's in lockdown. We are trying to figure out. I'm the head of the science department here. We're trying to, we're taking in the data. We're trying to figure it out. But we're locked down. We can't go outside. So I think we're safe here. But as soon as we get an answer, like I'll call you."
Okay.
But if you can, try to make your way here. And James is like, "Well, I gotta walk, and I'm downtown, so it's gonna be a while. I gotta work my way to the UN building on the east side.
Okay.
But just stay safe." And
James was Mark Wahlberg's character.
no, James Wahlberg. No, none of the main people are on this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just James, new character,
Okay.
James. So
But who's Mark Wahlberg? then?
Mark Wahlberg is not here.
Come on, man.
Sorry. So James,
But
but
say it's the trees.
so James asks if the professor knows if this is just happening in New York City or in parts around New York City, or if it's happening everywhere. And the professor is like, no, that was actually going to be my next call. So we flash over to the Brazilian rainforest,
Oh.
and we see some protesters standing in front of a bunch of people.
Loggers?
Thank you, loggers. And there's a couple of people that like turn to clearly the leader of these protesters. His name is T. And they're like, what do we do? They're about to log. It's like, we're going to hold the line. We got to have faith. We can do this. We can stop them from doing this. And just as they feel like the loggers are about to like just bust through them and like toss them aside as they start cutting down the forest, like the loggers stop and then throw themselves into their own equipment. And then like the rainforest clearly becomes a rainforest because it is raining blood, because the canopy is just glistening because they're
walking into like
chippers
wood
and stuff. Yeah.
Yo, dude.
And so everyone's like,
Okay.
Everyone's freaking out, and T's like,
Bruh.
what is going on?
That's
This is
scary
this
as
is
hell.
this is nuts. Everyone back up, and then all of a sudden, like,
Because you have people to witness it and go, no. That makes it so much scarier.
yes.
That's good, dude.
And then T's freaking out, and then like trying to keep his people calm, and then all of a sudden, his people start running towards the machines themselves, and T can't stop all of them. And so all the protesters start killing themselves on the logging machines they were just trying to stop. And so T is standing there shocked and amazed, like, literally, he's just covered in blood. As the trees, everything's just dripping. The rainforest is literally bleeding around him.
That's so metal, dude.
And his phone rings, and it's the professor. And he's like, T, are you safe? What's going on? And T breaks down and tells him what just happened.
Yeah.
And
I'm imagining like a Lawrence Fishburne
Oh,
type
sure.
for the professor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't know what happened. So it's clearly something is not right. Everything is breaking bad here in New York City. Are you safe? Can you get to where you need to be? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. And Professor's like, okay, we're working on the situation.
And there's like
Stay
a couple
safe.
of loggers and a couple of protesters who
So
are
we're
just
still,
like,
they're like, So T's like freaking out. Okay, great. So he walks away in tears from the forest.
Yeah.
He's not just away from the forest. So now we cut over to the Gulf Coast, and we see a young marine biologist. Her name is Guy, and she's studying the red tide that has come in, and she's with a lot of students who are asking
Keep
questions about this
Keep
new
going.
phenomenon that has just
No.
happened.
Oh, no. Think I've caught on, and I'm just going to bask in it. Keep going. No. Hit me with a hot note. Watch me bounce. I love this.
Okay, so Gee's phone rings, and it's the professor, and we want to know if she was safe, and she's like, "Yeah, everything's fine. What are you talking about? My students are here." She turns back, and her students just start diving into the red tide, which in and of itself is gross and disgusting. You should definitely not do that, but they're just drowning themselves. And she looks over it at the because this is the Tampa Bay area. She looks over it to the pier, and people are just like jumping off like roller coasters or just jumping off the Ferris wheel. Like it's
Yeah.
So
You're setting up like really good like scenes for
a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the professor's like, I don't know what's going on. Everything here is New York City, and also I've heard also it's happening in South America. You need to stay safe. We're coming for you. Just stay safe. And she's like, I don't know what's. Yep, I'm gonna, because there's other people on the beach just like standing around like not understanding what's happening.
Yeah.
'Cause they're also just freaking out. So the professor hangs up with Guy, and makes and he's like trying to do his best to rally the troops inside this UN science department, and he's like getting sheets of paper here and there. And he's like, okay, so guys, this is the information that we have right now. It seems like, because it's been a couple hours, it seems like this is a natural born toxin that's somehow airborne, and we seem to be safe in here. We got to get the word out that everyone needs to stay inside, lock your doors, seal your windows. Like, we need to figure out what's going on, but keep
the more they know.
Yeah, exactly. So everything seems to be, at the moment, everything is kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
James has made it to the UN building. The professor realizes, is like, okay, there's nothing else he can do right
How do you
now.
get over there? Do you take like a bike or something? He's probably got wheels or something, right?
No, he
He's
walked.
like a wheeler? Gotcha. Yeah.
He walked
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
through the chaos in New York
Just
City.
wondering, just asking random questions.
Okay, great. So the professor finds James. They're waiting for the helipad. They thankfully James knows how to fly a helicopter. So
That's good.
Yeah, they fly out north of the city. They pick up James's wife Lynn,
Okay.
and then they fly back to a private plane. Fly down to Florida, get Guy, and then it's like they refuel, and while they're trading information about what could possibly go on,
What
we don't
could possibly happen?
So
Yeah.
they all refuel the plane, and they're like, "Our next destination, I really hope lives up to its name." They're flying to Hope Island.
No, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Hope Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they disembark. They get there. They disembark, and the island is as beautiful as they remember.
Yep, I did. Is this how this feels? Because I did like a really like psychological deep dive into like the human psyche, and keep moving. Hope Island, yeah.
And they see there's
Took mine real serious. This is how this feels.
there's another
I get it.
small plane there.
This is how this feels.
So they're looking around, like there's obviously bringing back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
And we get have a jump scare when T shows up. And then because it's been a crazy 36 hours, everyone's on edge.
Something about this is ringing really familiar.
Okay, sure, yeah. And then so eventually the
Can't
T
tell
shows
what
up,
it is, but
and as they make their way through the island to just a building kind of standing in the middle of it, T turns to the professor and says, "Kwame, what are we gonna do?" And as they enter the building, there's a soft, rich, melodic voice rings out
I'm so mad at you right now.
and says, female voice, "Yes, Kwame, what are you going to do?" And out from the shadows stands this beautiful, older, dark-skinned woman. And she turns to the five of them, these five adults in their midlife,
Yeah.
in their 40s, and goes, Ah, Planeteers.
Fuck you, dude.
I was wondering when you'd make it here.
No, keep going. No.
So Kwame, the professor, launches into a string of questions like, who's behind this? Where are they? What can we do to stop it? Where are our rings? And Gaia turns like, your rings. And then she has them in her hand. Much like Hal Jordan did when he killed the core when he was possessed by Parallax. It's like,
yeah.
I gave you these rings to protect the planet. And look where there's gotten us. And then Gaia lists off a number of very true stats of like, hey, we're not in great shape. Like true things as of like right now. Like, hey, no, man, like we tried this 30 years ago and look where it's gotten us. Boom, 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 boom. All these things. So honestly, you should be thanking me for being kind to you. I gave you a choice of how you wanted to die. There were thousands of things that much more horrible that I could have made the plant life do to you. So I had a feeling the five of you might be immune to my plan after all the time we spent together. But you're here now, so I can take care of that personally. So in the interest of time here, Gaia then chases the five of them around the island, horror movie style, and just like psychologically deconstructs each of them, and it's like terrorizing and just mean and cruel about like the things they made, the choices they made as kids when they were Planeteers, and then choices they made later. Like it's just, she terrorizes them to the point where they finally, all five of them, lead back to the main room where the crystal table is, where they see things, and their rings are sitting right there. And so they grab their rings, and then Mati turns to Kwame and is like, we don't have a choice. We need to call Captain Planet. And so the five of them, for the first time in like 25 years, call on Captain Planet. And when he arrives, when he pops up, he's like, how long have I been gone? What's going on? What do we need? And before anyone can answer his questions, Gaia emerges from the shadows and thanks them, because calling Captain Planet was the last part of her plan. She knew there was going to be plenty of humans that the toxins couldn't reach. And she needed the person most capable of finishing the job. And Captain Planet's like, I would never harm humans. And she goes, and that's where you're wrong. Because you've clearly forgotten that I am the spirit of this planet, and you and I are linked. And right now, the spirit of this planet wants the humans gone. And the Planeteers see to their horror the look on Captain Planet's face change as his will is overridden by Gaia. And that's comic accurate, by the way. That's actually, they are tied together.
Cool.
So goes Gaia, so goes Captain Planet. Much like in Dragon Ball Super, where the gods of destruction are tied to the normal the gods. So if one goes, they both go. So in the interest of time, Captain Planet now starts hunting the Planeteers.
Okay.
Is this all just on Hope Island?
This is all down on Hope Island.
Okay.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah, Jay?
Who hurt you, dude?
You know what, Jay? I'll pause here. You come back in normal character. When we were like, oh, we're going to fix what's happening, I was like, I don't know what to do. I truly have no idea what to do. And I asked myself a question. What would Jay do? WWJD. This truly is payback for the Fast and Furious. Too Fast, Too Ludicrous. A Muppet Family Thanksgiving. Where were we? Oh, right. Captain Planet is hunting down the Planeteers. Kwame gets impaled on a stalagmite. And he drowns Guy. And it's down to Wheeler, Linka, and Mati. The last of which Gaia and Captain Planet they just are mocking them mercilessly. And Wheeler and Linka are trying to figure out, like, do we leave? Maybe we can get to the plains. We gotta find a way out. We can't do it. Our rings. Can't do anything. And then Matee's just like, I've had enough. And Matee just steps out from the shadows, or steps out from the behind whatever he was hiding behind, and just gives this absolutely the craziest, most endearing, music swelling pep talk that's ever been put on film.
Yeah, man, he's heart.
Yes, he is heart. His entire life, and it just happened. Gaia and Captain Planet just did this to him. For his entire life has been looked down upon.
Yeah.
And no one's ever given him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And
And Captain Planet rips both his arms.
And people have kept asking him time and again, how can he keep fighting after all these years, after so many losses? And he's just like, this is because I have faith. I have faith in myself. I have faith in my friends. I have faith in my species, in my community. Like, yes, humanity has done horrible things for centuries. But at the same time, we've also done wonderful things. Yes, things look bleak. Yes, we are in a very bad spot. Yes, we have done it to ourselves.
Yeah.
But for all the bad things you've already said that we've done also a lot of really good things. Progress takes time, and it sucks, and it's so hard. But we are making progress. We are turning a corner. Lincoln was working at a wind farm. Wheeler's in charge of a green construction site. Kwame was doing his best at the UN for global change. We are doing our best. We have a chance. And you decided to take that away from us. We can do this. And you just see his ring is glowing the brightest it's ever glown in his entire life. And Wheeler and Linka finally come out from hiding as well and stand behind him and like adding their support. And you see through Matee's just absolutely amazing speech that we've rewritten so many times and made sure that we had the best possible music. He gives this speech of a lifetime and is able to change Captain Planet's mind back to what their mindset is. Matee has once again shown true heart and gave the will of the people back to Captain Planet.
Yeah.
The captain, being free of Gaia's will, realizes he has very few options.
Yeah.
So he grabs Gaia, apologizes for what he did, and reminds them that the power is yours. And then flies with Gaia. Who's just full on going.
Clawing at him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Flies her into space, right into the sun. Granted, it takes 8 minutes, but they see the explosion.
Okay. They're checking their watches.
We gotta make sure. You gotta make sure. We'll say 8 minutes later.
Yeah, that's a weird 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's a tense 8 minutes. Yeah,
yeah.
in real time.
Yeah.
Everyone's rings just basically turns off, darkens, and falls off their fingers. And the three of them, the remaining alive Planeteers, look to each other like, "What do we do now? The spirit of the Earth is gone. Captain Planet's sacrificed himself to save everybody." And he's like, we gotta rebuild. We have a chance. We know how to fix this planet. We've known since we were kids. A lot of people died, and it was horrible. But we now have a really good chance of rebuilding our societies.
Yeah.
In a way that is much more eco-friendly and in balance with this planet, so this never happens again. This is a terrible lesson learned, but we can make the most of this. And then we flash forward, a year. Wheeler and Linka are back at in their apartment in New York City. She's pregnant.
Her name was Linka, and we all we're just supposed to be like, yeah.
The funny fun fact, she was Russian in the first 3 seasons, and then the Berlin Wall collapsed, and then they changed it to her being from basically kind of like an Eastern European, like a Ukraine.
Interesting.
Yeah. So basically, the society, those who survived, are like, yeah, there's less of us now, so our impact on the environment is a lot less. So
Captain America's like, there's whales. Maybe Thanos was right.
So it was hard. People are getting back together, but it's a hard, but a greener, brighter future awaits everybody.
Adam, all I'm going to say is there are times, I give you a hard time. We have a lot of inside jokes, and I razz you quite a bit.
Jay, I'm wearing an inside joke right now.
Exactly. And then there are times in our relationship where I am staunchly reminded to never, ever truly fuck with you. Because that was from the mind of a person with a plan. What? That was insane.
What are you talking about?
I am meaning this as the biggest compliment of my life. That was incredibly, it was evocative, but also insane. Bravo, my friend. Bravo.
Thanks.
But also, you better not have a knife on you.
Who needs a knife when you got these guns, baby? So it was when I mentioned the gi. That was about when it finally tipped you off.
Yeah.
I thought for sure hiding Kwame's name for as long as possible was going to be the thing that kept it from you.
No, you got no. But the thing is that there were certain aspects of what you were describing that was like in line with this movie in a way that was quite evocative. So I was kind of getting lost in the sauce of that. I was like, that lumberjack thing is kind of nuts. And I was like, wait. And then you said key, and I was like, this is power. This is Captain Planet.
It's like I asked Brian. I was like, I got a crazy idea. And I was trying to be coy with him too, but I was like, do you think how well does Jay know Captain Planet?
Oh, very well. Very well.
Yeah, I said like, if you hid the names, it would take him a while, but he'll get it before the end.
Yeah, I absolutely got it.
Yeah,
James Wheeler. Yeah.
It's like Dumb and Dumber. Like, just when I thought you could do anything dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. That was really good.
I thought for sure. Here's the thing. Because I watched this movie at 1.5 times speed on I think it was Sunday, and I was like, I don't know. How am I gonna? We got to keep it as
and
the
you're
trees.
Gonna watch it again with the Discord watch along this week.
How are we? What make who? Who would? How? None of this make. Who would make the trees do? I know who would make the trees do the thing. Hey, mummy.
All I'm gonna say is, this is an act of war, and I accept.
Oh, okay.
No.
Here's the thing. I thought every Planeteer was gonna have a first and last name.
No,
they don't. They don't. Wheeler's the only one with a first and last name.
That's because he goes by his last name.
He goes by his last name.
Point. Yeah.
So I was like, I can't, because I could not say Kwame.
That was.
You
really.
I couldn't. I was like, well,
You a couple times in your thing, you went.
I did.
Professor.
Professor. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I did. I was like, I can't. Well, I mean, he probably, if all of them, he was a leader. He'd probably work for the UN. He's probably okay. He's got his doctorate in geology. That's my canon. Okay.
Oh,
Well, where you placed them in the world at that point in time was very clever.
Yeah. That's one
Wheeler
for the books,
construction. That was great.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Well, we did it, bud.
We did. I mean, we did. We did.
The happening.
Both of you fixed the happening really well, and it happened.
The trees are mummies, everybody.
You heard it here first.
Well, if you're listening to this on any of the podcatcher platforms, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a quick review, that would be a huge help. 5 stars. Maybe mention when you figured out that it was Captain Planet in Adam's Fix. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell and doing that YouTube that you do so well. I dare you, cowards. And as we end every episode of Fix It, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the slow wind. Do you kind of feel coming? I don't know.
I thought it was gonna be the slow mummies, but whatever.
I already did that one.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening.